Welcome back to our overview of all of the lists from the bolt action Welsh Nationals. Before we jump into the top 10 lists at the tournament, I'm going to do an overview of all of the armies. And to do that, I'm going to start with a graph.
You're joking. Not another one?
Here we can see of the 52 armies, only 5 were single platoon. The highest ranked single platoon was 15th, and the other 4 were all found in 45th place or below. In terms of order dice, the average order dice for the tournament was 18.65. The armies that came in 52nd to 41st had an average of 16.2, 40th to 31st 18.5, 30th to 21st 19.2, 20th to 11th 19.4, and in the top 10 the dice average was 20.5. Here is our line of best fit for the order dice, and we can see that, broadly speaking, the armies that placed higher had more order dice. The bottom 10 armies having about 16 order dice, and the top 10 armies having about 20.5 order dice. And now, let's look at the specific nations. This graph shows the average finishing position for each nation in the game. The numbers on the bars show how many players were playing that specific nation. We can see that the only nations with more than 3 players playing them were Britain, Germany, the Soviet Union, and the USA. And so those are the 3 that we will look at, because 3 or less players doesn't give a big enough sample size to really indicate how strong the nation is. But of the big 4, Britain performed the best, with the players finishing in the top 22 places on average, followed closely by the Soviets, who finished in the top 25 on average, then the US, who were finishing within the top 28, and finally the Germans were dragging their heels a bit and only managing to come in on average in the top 40. But onto the lists. In 10th was Charlie, running US.
Charlie's list is just nice and strong. 18 dice, dual platoon. He's got his veteran paratroopers there with the BAR. You've got the stubborn on them because they're paratroopers. And then you've got that nice support of recce jeeps, double Dacker M3 Stuart, engineers in the Dodge, multi-launcher, medium howitzer and so on. Really good solid list and a great performance from Charlie to finish 10th overall.
In 9th was Alex, running Polish.
Alex's Polish list is what you'd expect to see with a Lancer list. You got 6 of those 6-man veteran cavalries. You got HE through the double medium howitzer, double sniper to threaten, take out NCOs, all that sort of stuff. MG tanks, or double MG tanks with the Vickers, and then the double TKS with the autocannon. Just great list. Really well played as well. I played against Alex in the final round, and it was just a good demonstration of how to play Poles. Well done, Alex.
In 8th was Johnny, running Soviets.
So Johnny's list, it's different. Soviets, not normally what Johnny would take. 22 dice dual platoon. Huge amounts of barbecue going on. So we've got 6 squads there. You've got the additional HE from the Ampomelettes, 6 of them, not just 1 or 2 but 6. And then we've got some Dacker as well from the Tokarovs. It's a really aggressive squad. It's fast, it's mobile, it's how Johnny likes to play. Not what you'd expect to see from Soviets. If you look at the other Soviet lists, none of them are built like this at all. But if you've played Johnny or know Johnny's reputation, it's not a surprise to see the list that he took.
In 7th was Paul, running Soviets.
So Paul's Soviet list, I know he's been working on making Soviets great again. Again, really nice little list. We've got 4 deployers, we've got large blobs of chaff. We've got the dog team AT teams, which are a great build for the Soviets. Interesting that he took the double static autocannon, and then you've also got the double Katusha to split the opponent apart, force him to not bunch up, and then that heavy mortar as well. So yeah, really, really nice little list there from Paul.
In 6th was Topher, running British.
Topher's British list. So it's an interesting one. It's very different to all the other British lists that we've seen at the top end of the table. 16 dice, so fairly low dice count relative to what else we're seeing in the top 10. Very much designed for killing armor. So we've got those double M3 Lees, we've got the Staghound, we've got the Humber Mark II, we've also got the engineers as well with the flamethrowers and the Brents. The double sniper is a great option. Those 2 home guard units are to make the list legal. It's only got 4 infantry squad and only 20 men across those 4. But great to see a British list that isn't the normal Dacker, Stewart, Lee, Gurkhas, etc. doing so well, and obviously in the hands of a very, very good player.
In 5th was Manuel, running Hungarians.
So Manuel's list, Hungarian, 23 dice dual platoon. Shirkers for life would be the motto for this one. So you've got 5 border guard sections, all with flamethrowers, 3 arrow cross militia, 3 multi-launchers, and then you've got the Toldi, which is the anti-tank rifle armoured car, and then a double 40M Turan. So it really does show what you can do as a good player with a minor nation, and looking at it in a different way rather than the traditional builds that we often see at the competitive end.
In fourth was Felix, running Dutch.
Similarly, we've got Felix with his 27 dice dual platoon Dutch list. Totally unique. Obviously, we first heard about this at the WTC earlier on this year. What we've got then is 6 full-strength inexperienced Shirka squads of Indonesian infantry, 4 armoured MMG vehicles. We've got 4 utility trucks, all with light AT guns, and then a range of support in terms of high explosive, anti-tank and sniper support. Massive amount of dice. Doesn't really matter that the squads are Shirkas, because you've got so many dice and you've got so many other things that can to put damage out, that if an opponent's going to focus on the Shirkas, it means those dice that Felix got in the bag will be used for somewhere else.
Now into the top 3. In third place was Chris, running British.
Chris's list, it's British 20 dice dual platoon, 3 9-man Gurkha squads and a 5-man Gurkha para squad. So not a huge number of squads, and they're quite chunky as well. Has obviously got the double Dakar M3 Stuart. We've got a lot of Dakar in the form of the armoured car option, so the SAS Jeep, and then 3 of the LMG early war motorcycles, and then support coming from mortars, 25-pounders, flamethrowers and Piat and so on. For me, they're quite big squads. They're 9-man Gurkha squads and just that single 5-man Gurkha para squad. But clearly it worked for Chris. Third place, well done, Chris. Really good performance there.
Second place and Welsh champion was Russell, running British.
Russell, second place. We've got a British list, 15 dice, so really low. When you go through, other than Topher, when you go through the top 10, it's a low dice count. He has got 4 7-man Gurkha paras. He's got an M3 Lee, the Dakar M3 Stuart, the double Marmon Harrington armoured car. So that's got the twin 10 shots MMGs in the turret, double mortar, double sniper. Interestingly, Russell hasn't gone with any flamethrowers nor engineers. So there's a lot of Dakar there, there's a lot of armour there. And then obviously when those Gurkhas get in range, they are going to do some damage when they get into assault.
First place with 4 wins, a draw and 4 secondaries was Dan, running French.
So we've got Dan's list, which is a French 25 dice dual platoon. Got the 4 10-man inexperienced squad, so making use of that 3 for buy 3 get 1 free rule. We've got 2 engineers in the Lafley, 2 lots of cavalry, 2 medium howitzers, and that single heavy howitzer, which is a really, really good thing to see. Double LMG motorcycle, double anti-tank rifle motorcycle, FT-17s with the MGs, double sniper, AT rifle. Again, similar to Felix and Manuel as well, high dice count. That sheer amount of dice is going to make a difference, because when you need to do something, chances are you're going to be pulling those dice. It's very different to the other French list, which is the one I took. So I went down the tough fighter Senegalese route. Dan's gone down those inexperienced blobs. Really great list. Lovely to see. And from what I gather from those who played him, an interesting list to play against as well. So well done, Dan.